I should say, guys cosplaying it with constellation outfits.
Would you say that he was seeing stars?
Oh, yes.
Oh, God.
You see how it feels, huh, motherfucker?
Oh, like any good constellation, I did not connect the dots.
That was good. That was good. Okay. If we are thinking your character would like a point of DM inspiration, give me a recap roll into chat and let us refresh ourselves on what happened last time in the world of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. I see a 17 in the chat going once. I see a 6 in the chat, so I got a 17 going once, going twice. Sold to the White Lotus. Please give us your recap of last week's session of Rime of the Frostmaiden.
Absolutely. All right, so we started last session hastily making our way towards Brynshander after Avlis's fox friend had revealed to us that she felt a disturbance in the weave, and apparently it had something to do with that giant statue that the Church of Auril had been building. So, on the road, we did eventually catch up to Alicia, who had gotten ahead of us. We talked things out with them, and we had decided that we were going to investigate what was going on before we did anything. And we talked about a whole bunch of different stuff, gods, meaning of life, all that important and cool inter-party stuff. Then, as we made our way to Brynshander, we noticed that the place had been redecorated, and there was a bunch of banners flying the symbol of the Church of Auril outside. And the normally friendly dwarf lady who would greet you and tell you how to, hey, mind rules and everything, was a bit more stern than usual, and also had frosted tips in her hair, which we would come to learn as we entered the town proper was been adopted by quite a few people. We had made our way to the Church of Lathander to see how Lady Michonne was holding up. Thankfully, she had not fallen under the influence of the Church of Auril, though she did enlighten us that it had apparently affected most, if not all, of the other townsfolk. Thankfully, though, she said that the speaker and the sheriff managed to avoid it, at least so far. We then made our way to the Church of Auril itself, seeing the large completed statue. Akia, having touched it and fallen under its influence somewhat, and had actually gotten a little angry at the other acolytes of the church who had been chanting for them. Yeah, so seeing Akia angry was definitely an interesting sight. Eventually, they had gotten so upset with the chanting that they had left and taken solace under the large weighted blanket that is the Great Kuma. And we did talk things out with Sybil, who very much seemed to be enjoying their newfound power over the city. We did a little metaphorical saber rattling, but, thankfully no one came to blows at the moment. Though from what Akia said, and also through Flavy's analysis, we did find out that there's a large amount of divine energy coming off the thing. It seems to be influencing the people of the town. With that information, we made our way to Town Hall to see the sheriff and the speaker, who we gave them a rundown of what was going on, including activating Flavy, and who revealed that if we were to destroy the statue currently as is with all the divine energy in it, it would basically act like a magical atomic bomb and essentially destroy the entirety of Icewind Dale. So, yeah, that's going to be a rough thing to get around. Though, Flavy did offer us a bit of a countermeasure. We just got to let the sun in that we haven't seen in 3 years. And along with that, we ended with that and Alicia sending out their magical surveillance drone to see if anyone was listening in on us. I believe that's where we left off.
You have earned a point of DM inspiration. Thank you for your recap. Okay. It is best that we now move on to our Faxpiration question for the day. You've been asked to model for a painter who specializes in heroic figures. What dramatic pose do you strike? So let us start out with Akia. Akia, tell us about what pose you'd like to strike.
All right. Akia's dramatic pose. It would be a close-up on Akia's on like about how about Akia's icon is pretty close. Their palm would be open. In their palm, you see a anthropomorphized Kuma Q, who is standing up on their back legs, also holding out an open palm. And in that open palm is a tiny miniature Akia 13, who is just giving a thumbs up.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy pose. But I assume the painter would love to paint that. That would be very cool. Well, Akia, you have earned a Faxpiration point. We will let the Faxpiration icon on your mini ride. Let us move forward to the top of the player list that I'm looking at, to Game in the Glade. Game, tell us about the heroic pose you would strike.
So I was originally thinking that it would be something of caravans. You know, it's a big, muscly dude holding a sword up, towards the sky, that sort of thing. But it's not especially dignified, so I would take a different tact, and it would be a more composed visage. I'm sitting down, probably catch me from, maybe waist up. Maybe I'm sitting in a padded chair or in front of a table or something. Just looking very dignified. And I've got Lucille sort of cradled in my arms, and giving that sort of, for lack of a better word, regal visage,
I love it. I would love to see Gaiman wear a crown at some point and, take on a more regal and maybe even royal standing among the peoples of Icewind Dale. Maybe become king of the goblins.
Technically speaking, I had a crown. No, I just took it off a dead guy.
He does have a crown, and he did take it off again. You know what? Mission complete.
Yeah, but it doesn't make me a king. I don't go in for the whole, leadership by divine right. You have to have some redeeming qualities if you're gonna lead folks, either in battle or lead a community. There's more to being a king just more than my God said so. Sorry, everyone, but there's got to be something behind it.
That's fair enough, and I feel like those are true words by Gaiman. It's not just the sword that makes the king. Okay, now let us continue. Gaiman has earned a point of Faxpiration to Avalis. Avalis, tell us about your heroic pose. Is it the cupcake or the cheesecake?
No, so I think at first his pose would be like, again, Avalis not mentioning the assignment, it'd just be like super clueless. Just kind of like standing around, just waiting. And then once it's explained to him, I think then he would go to like the most awkward pose ever. And I have put them both into chat on Discord. Sorry.
Oh, so instead of you like leaning against a wall, you would reach out and awkwardly lean against a person, maybe a woman, hand resting on her breast, sort of deal.
He'd be so clueless. It could be something like that. He'd have no idea. He doesn't know these
Well,
things.
I'm saying, you said it would be awkward. I mean, I don't know how it gets more awkward than that.
Awkward, but less assaulty.
Fair enough. Consent is important.
That is true. Oh, by the way, never mind. That would derail us, guys. Derail. Avalos, you have earned a point of facspiration. Let us move forward with Alicia. Alicia, tell us about your heroic pose you would strike.
Wouldn't really be heroic. It would just be a pose of them in prayer with like the sun behind them. Simple.
You know what? I feel like that is a great pose, and it would be kind of dramatic. It would be a sight to behold. I like it. You have earned a facspiration point. Let me award that to you right now. Boom, facspiration. Excellent. Well, last but certainly not least, Lotus, tell us, what pose would you strike?
All right. Well, I did talk this over with you a little bit, but Wada would be there as well, and having talked it over with him, it would be something, she's feeling a bit frisky, a little spicy, so she'd want to have posed with them, reenacting a maneuver that he had picked up during his Cult of Gratz days called Threading the Weave. And I'll just leave that up to everyone's imagination as to what exactly that looks like.
Wait, we all said we would have, could be hung up, and you're talking about a boudoir portrait. Extrapolate there.
Akia has no idea what you're talking about.
Different folks.
Well, if we're all speaking of boudoir, we're speaking of those type of things, we're in a good place. And that means we're in a good place to begin the session. Now that everyone has a point of facspiration, and we have awarded DM inspiration for the recap. We are all, I believe, within the city walls of the city of Bryn Shander. The city has become overrun with the Church of Auril, inundating every facet of life. Their statue of their lady has grown tall and overlooks the city. It can even be seen from the palisades outside. Using your investigative skills, you've learned that the statue is radiating some sort of strange magic out into the peoples, making them feel safer and as if they need to become a part of the Church of Auril. You took your concerns into the speaker's house within the city of Bryn Shander to discover what they plan to do with it or what exactly they are going to do. You see that even some of the government workers, the guards themselves are converted to the Church of Auril. Alicia, you put out a invisible eye to see exactly what you could figure out or find out. Are there any spies? Are there any peoples that shouldn't be here? Your invisible sensor would reveal that many of the guards' people are on the lookout consistently and constantly, almost looking around every corner, listening to every conversation they can. Eyes rolling from side to side, listening and hearing, writing this information down. You believe that information shared in a unsafe, or how would you say, unpracticed way will be transmitted back to the Church of Auril.
So, in the immediate area of the speaker's house, like, we went into her office. Is there, as I'm kind of moving the invisible eye kind of underneath the door up into like the upper parts of the ceiling, and then kind of like traveling down, looking at every which way, like, is there someone at the immediate point of right outside the door?
There is no one at the outside the immediate point of the door. No.
Okay. Then I'll have the eye kind of travel down the hallway until it gets to like an intersection that I guess we probably would have had, and then just have it like sit there and just kind of scan around the area. While
Absolutely.
this conversation continues.
Okay, no problem. Okay, then I will take us back to the Brinshander map, as your eye is on the lookout for any Aurilites that might be doing their best to listen in.
And I also widen that net to not just be oral lights, but I guess from what we've heard, even the town guards have kind of been pulled into this way. So if there's anyone who seems like they're kind of lingering a little too close to the office, I'm going to make note of them.
Sure.
While people discuss things, I think Akia is going to calm down by writing down the glyphs that they saw using their keen mind feature.
That's a great use of the keyline feature. Yeah, you can record all of the arcane glyphs and runes that were just under the surface of the statue of Auril in front of the Church of Auril. Now, if I remember correctly, you all are within the office. Sheriff Markham and the speaker, Duvisa Shane, are all here in the office. First of all, they need to kind of like react to what they saw happen with the mask. There is a small reaction, as you know, they've seen a lot of crazy things, but they have not seen your mask before. So let me pop up their art here. So the sheriff and Duvisa, almost if they have practiced this, at the same time say, "What the hell was that?" Oh, and I popped up her token art. I meant to do... Oh. Well, here. I gotta make it even. I gotta pop up her token art. And then his token art. There we go.
I almost thought it was going to be like the game. Like, what's up with that?
What's up with that? What's up with that? Just want to get Jason Sudeikis in here. So they are both looking at the party, asking, what the hell did we just see? Why is their mask talking?
Lotus will sigh and say, all right, look, it's a long thing. You both have known me since I got here, and I've always had this. This is a feature that I've only recently become aware of, but it can talk, and it can analyze things, and it does help me in combat. Look, if you want, I can tell you all about it later. I just think we have other things that are more pressing issues at the moment.
They both look to each other. They accept what you have said, and they say, "You're probably right," the sheriff will say. "The pressing matter is the Church of Auril and their influence upon the city. What are all your thoughts on what we should do?" The sheriff will say. "You guys fought a mimic wagon together. He's willing to hear your ideas."
Well, I think there's another person I think who might have some input on this, and I'll turn to Watto, and I say,
Watto is definitely at the House of the Morning Lord.
Yep, you guys left
right.
all of the NPCs there.
Right.
Question: how's Akia writing down the glyphs? Are they like writing it on parchment, or are they like drawing in like the dust on a desk or something? How are they documenting it?
I believe I have ink quill and parchment in my bag of holding.
Okay.
And if I run out of room in there, I will definitely deface my WebMD book.
Oh dear. Well,
Akia loves books, but he is also very
focused on
pragmatic.
this.
Pragmatic. It's like if this is helpful, then it's helpful. But they're just sort of scribbling and just trying to calm down a little bit.
What Flavy said is true. We need to find some way to dispel or deactivate the runes on the statue. Otherwise, if we destroy it as is, all of Icewind Dale is gone. It's just gone.
The speaker will say, your mask said aloud something of like the statue had the energy of some type of bomb. What does that mean?
A atomic bomb. It's the place where I'm from had them, and very well regulated, but they are very destructive. They can destroy whole cities and leave the surrounding area uninhabitable for centuries.
I see, the speaker will say, and the sheriff will look to you all and say, well, perhaps something that got kicked up to me could help. I think I have some information about a location that might help us out of this jam, potentially.
All right, and as he says this, she takes out the map of 10 towns. Like, any help you have, Sheriff, would be greatly appreciated.
Well, maybe this is something that was already on your radar, and something that we've talked about before, but some of the scouts out in the Dale found something unnatural.
Hearing that, Lotus gulps nervously, and she says, "Oh, what did they find?"
Well, scouting out away from Bryn Shander, out past Loch Denishire, they found a gigantic metal spike. Almost, I would call it a spire, sticking out of the ground, covered with all sorts of strange arcane writings and technology.
She'll think about it, and she'll tap the side of the mask, make sure everyone can hear it. Like, Flavy, do you know anything about this?
Searching database. Finding points of arcane energy. Please check back in 2 minutes as I conduct search.
DM, Loch Denishire, is that the one that's on the...
We just came from.
Yep.
Just came from?
Yep. Aglair.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up the...
Fuck it, back to the lock!
Let's go to the lock, boys. What's the worst that could happen? Have some laughs, see a hag crystal. It's all good. The sheriff will pipe up. Here, I'll put them back on this map, as you guys are all looking at Lotus's map. Yeah, we were scouting about, trying to find more information about all of those Duergar. They've gone into hiding, and we're hoping to find any holes that they might be hiding in. Anyways, they found this giant spire, the spike, sticking out of the ice and snow, covered with strange tech, strange writings. I can tell you where that spire is located if you think that it might help our current situation.
At the mention of strange technology, Akia's all better.
Strange tech, what? Huh? Huh? Where's it? Where's it at? Where's it at? Huh? Yeah, they said it may have been some type of wizard's tower by the look of it.
We heard of something to that nature. I guess it was a long time ago. A arcane practitioner, I guess a wizard, was living in this area and had a tower made of charlatan, if I recall.
Devissa Shane will start to roll her eyes as she says, "You speak of S.R. Keckle and Kryn Shinabon."
I believe those may have been names. This is also me. I have no fucking idea if they were or not.
Wait, they lived in a tower made of the stuff that made us evil.
Yep.
Okay then.
Yes, an age, almost 2 ages now back, the companions of the Mithril Hall had to defeat S.R. Keckle and his army of devils and demons from the lower planes in a tower made of black ice and metal. The word Kryn Shinabon was used to describe this crystal shard that built the tower.
Are these one and the same, or are they separate?
The sheriff will say, "No, the location of the Tower of Eka Kessel is lost to the histories, and the location of Kryn Shinabon, I believe, is, unfortunately enough, also lost." They have dropped the spire location on the map.
White text and snow. Very nice.
It's got a black outline. It's all right.
Here, let me change that for you. How about that? Is that better?
Much better, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We were just.
They also said, he'll say, before, sorry to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
that they saw a red furry creature enter that spire.
Avlis, do you think that's the... You know.
Did it have this face? And Avlis puts on blue steel.
The sheriff will look to you concerned. They said that it looked quite serious, but I don't know if they said that it was, you know, a male model.
I can see how that would confuse people.
Wait, but why would they describe a Yeti that would look like a Yeti is a male model?
Because it has my face, and I am ostensibly very attractive.
We've heard the rumors about you and the lady of the House of the Morning Lord. The people about town don't have much to gossip about.
Yeah, but why a male model?
Well, they said he was very striking to look at, and he made this face, and he'll try his best to do blue steel back to you. Oh, and before I forget, you might need to try this out when you're investigating it or any new monsters that you come across. And this is your GM's terrible segue of giving you the new monster mech. Sorry, y'all. That was terrible. The sheriff unveils a scroll that says, "Yes, it seems that in the past we had a different way of monitoring monsters and identifying them, and it was just okay. This is how you would say a lot better." And I'm going to share that to chat in just 1 second. So how it's going to work is you'll have your token selected. You will target the creature, and you'll just hit the button, and that's it. And it will tell you if you succeeded or you failed. And how I would like it to work is you guys just ask me one question about the monster, and I will answer it based on your roll. Was it honest? Was it good enough? All that jazz. And monster research, open, imports. All right, here we go. I need to give you guys configure ownership, owner. All right, so that one that Matthew just used, it's bad. Don't use it. It actually doesn't work very well. So monster research is what we want. So, for example, if I have Alicia selected and I target Blarton and then I use monster research, it will now roll that into chat. 15 versus 14, a success. And then they could ask me one question. Do we have any questions about the new monster research macro?
What's I guess abilities it pulling for or skill?
Great question. So I'm going to copy this, and
It looks like it added a +7, which is my history.
so aberrations are arcana, beasts are animal handling, celestials are religion, constructs are arcana, nature's an elemental, dragons and elementals are nature, fae are arcana, fiends are religion.
So it
Giant
does it automatically
history?
based off the creature type of the target.
Correct.
Nice.
Mhm. And it should correctly roll the correct stat, give us the DC, and then put that roll into chat.
Okay.
And then if we
That's right.
pass, we can just ask how many hit die it has, etc.
You could ask any question that you wanted, and if you succeed, I will answer it honestly. And this should not be, will you tell me its hit points, and it's blank, and it's blank, because that would be 3 questions.
What about just like tell me everything about it? No.
Oh.
No.
Is vulnerabilities and resistances
That would be 2 separate questions.
but you get all of them for one question, like all the resistances for one question.
Yep.
Like in the past. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go.
And this means that you guys would be able to get different stuff from doing the monster research check. And this is still any action economy you want to spend on that. Action, bonus action, reaction on that. Cool. The sheriff will say, I'm sorry, guys, that really came out of nowhere, but thank you all for indulging me on that.
And no wishing for more wishes. And I can't fall in love. Also, and this is more of a personal preference, if you wish for a ring that makes you a magical, all-powerful sorcerer, just wish for the abilities. Why wish for something with extra steps?
We talking about Disney movies and the faults that they have? I got a few of those.
And genies in general.
Why didn't Elsa just have her ice golem just turn those guys into flesh paste? That's my thought.
It's a Disney movie, and they have plot armor.
That's true. I wanted that thing just to turn him into flesh paste. I was like, yes, do it.
Yeah. I understand the sentiment, Orf, but I think you're just going to have to let it go on this one.
Gaiman, you have a DM inspiration. That was perfect.
Speaking of plot armor, from what we notice, everyone else is quite, I guess, beholden to the statue. How did you two avoid such fates? Looking at the sheriff and the town speaker.
Well, the sheriff will say, I don't know about everyone else in this town, but I am a devoted servant of the Morning Lord, such so that... And he begins to undo the top of his coat. You guys can see the kind of the bristling of chest hair. You can also see he has two hemispherical domed pecs, but on his chest, you see he has a emblem of the Morning Lord, a pendant. I never take this off.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Also, next time you can just bring the pendant out from underneath the clothes. You don't have to like disrobe.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, it's like Lou's cheeks are just a bright purple.
It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
Maybe we should hurry back to the others. They might be following under the influence of the statue.
As for the speaker, she says, this may come to as a surprise to all of you, but unlike the majority of the peoples of the Forgotten Realms,
She worships Underly.
she begins to undo her blouse. No.
Alicia blushes.
And she begins to show you. No. She says, I realize that the wonders and the presence of deities are all around us. Clerics perform miracles. Their acolytes bring the dead back to life. I find their apathy and their wanton need for the deaths of the people of this world not something to be worshipped. I am myself a, how you call it, willful agnostic of their practices. AKA, she hates the gods so much, that statue.
Atheism has given her power. Intriguing. I don't feel like this is the time for it, but I would actually like to know your point of view on this. I don't think we formally really have spoken much since my town is Targos. But that's not for here nor there. I do agree with Akia. We probably should go check on the rest of our group.
Though, before we do, I'd say, Flavy, have you finished your analysis?
Lady, analysis complete. From coordinates given by the sexy Markham Southwell from Lotus's journal. The spire is located near Loch Denisham. Arcane magic. Power, present. Technology, present. Netherese origin, present.
Hearing that, she asks, is this part of the... She hesitates for a moment and then speaks up. Is this part of the Mind Flayer ship that I crashed on?
Levy responds, Mind Flayer origin. Not found. Netherese origin, 99% likely.
Alright. She
Am
does turn...
I'm sorry to
ahead.
interrupt.
No.
Is no one else? Does it? I have no idea what Netherese is.
Yeah, that is something I did want to ask. Am I familiar with what that means?
Okay, so I'm not the only one. It felt like I was the only one for a second there.
I guarantee you, Avalos doesn't know, even though I know.
Yeah, I know. Character. I'm curious. Expertise in history. Would Alicia have an idea?
Absolutely. With an expertise, training, and history, you would know that the Netherese, also known as the Neth, were an ancient, majocratic nation of peoples in Faerun. They are best known for essentially destroying their own civilization with their reliance on high magics, essentially resulting in when they started to float their cities off the ground. And as you guys can imagine, their cities started floating off the ground. And then they started to come down out of the sky, back into the ground.
Floating cities. Good one, Alicia.
The people of Faerun are always looking for ancient Netherese technology and magical items because they're always, how you say, high-ticket items or extremely powerful items that can be used for good or evil.
Everyone, I would like to say now, I was very disappointed that we were not able to explore the upper level of the Durgar stronghold. And if we go to this location, I will insist that we give it the thorough investigation and once-over that it so deserves.
Okay, that's all very well and good, but I kind of feel we're losing sight of the more immediate issue, the fact that everyone's kind of been brainwashed in this town.
I would agree with Game, and I think with the circumstances, the reason why we didn't explore the rest of the Durgar stronghold was valid. You know, Dragon pretty much wiping out all the cities that were here. While this statue is exuding some sort of type of influence, I feel like it is, I hate to say this, more of a slow burn rather than a raging wildfire. We may have some time to explore to be thorough, to see if we can explore all of our options, but we shouldn't... How's the best way to put this? We do need to keep task in mind, not just to satisfy curiosities.
Lois will nod in agreement with you, Alicia, then turn to the sheriff and the speaker. I'm sure you two have a fair few questions for me, considering what I've just revealed about myself. I promise you I will answer them in time, but you all have known me since I've gotten here, and you've trusted me as Thane. I ask that you trust me, and she'll hold out her hands to everyone, and the other Thanes with this matter.
Both the speaker and the sheriff will nod their head to you that they both trust you and that they give their thanks to you for all that you've done and that they will continue to put their faith in the Lotus.
Well, I guess there is one thing I can reveal to you, and she'll turn to the rest of the party, and to the rest of you as well. They've seen me, the real me, but I feel I can show you as well. She'll reach up and pull off the mask, and showing her scarred body and her voice getting raspy, says, "My name is not actually Lotus. It's a alias I took up when I first arrived here. My name is Evilise Camilla."
Wait. Hold on. We are forgetting that, X day on the name's day, because there's like an imp A that works for, fucking Damon.
Damon, it's on the contract.
He goes, "Hoot! I already know it. Hoot, hoot." To which the speaker and
Not now.
Is there a paperweight on the desk?
of course.
Okay, Damon's gonna snatch it up and throw it at the owl.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not a real owl.
It blunks the owl now. Its transformation drops and it turns back into an imp, and it hits the ground and goes, "Oh, my aching head!" And it stands up, and you see that the imp is not wearing any clothes. And you can see its little red ding dong, and its kind of fat poochy belly. And it looks up to you and flips you the bird and says, "Hey, that was completely unnecessary."
You know what? Your face is completely unnecessary.
Well, I would like to say that I have been nothing but professional since I got here. I have been an owl. I have not tried to do any mischief. I have not tried to,
Bullshit.
What mischief have I tried to pull?
You tried to make a deal when Lotus was dying.
It's in his nature. They adhere to the laws as evil as it can be.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Of course, I don't like it either, but it is what it is.
Yes, I didn't really appreciate you, trying to hawk your deals like you're familiar with what a pyramid scheme is?
I'll let you know. Down in the Nine Hells, not only do we know what the pyramid scheme is, we perfected it.
Why am I not surprised?
Say I'm not too surprised about that.
I believe it's now called multi-level marketing. That's what the imp said.
You see, now we indulge in even grander things like women's exercise clothing and supplements. We've even started to move into the CBD market. Anyways, he brushes off his little red wiener, who looks auspiciously like a Vienna sausage, and says, "Don't we have places to be, Damon? Or are you going to throw another paperweight at my head?"
Don't tempt me.
Yes, please don't. He will do it.
You're right. I can sense in him a great amount of violence and aggression. Maybe he needs some CBD. I have some here in my pocket. And he
Reaches for another paperweight.
you guys know that he doesn't.
He doesn't actually plan on throwing it, but it's like the whole pump fake with business.
Oh,
You
for
might
sure.
want to try the letter openers too. Those might be more effective.
You raise an excellent point.
He grabs one and it's like just buried in the floor by the imp.
Ah!
I missed on purpose.
He screams. The two normies that are here are losing their goddamn minds at what is happening. Anyways,
It's a long story. Maybe if anything, be careful. If I guess we are leaving town again. Try not to be, I guess not coerced, but well, I don't think Sybil's gonna try that. Just be careful.
Lotus will pull the mask back down over her face, her body and voice returning back to what it was before, and says, "This mask does have some other interesting features. I may, at some point, if I discover anything useful for you, you may receive a piece of parchment with the relevant information on it, but I recommend you memorize it and then destroy it immediately, lest it fall into the wrong hands."
The speaker and the sheriff says, "Sure you wish to trust us with something like that?"
She does give a soft smile. It's like, if there's anyone I would trust, other than these folks, it would be the two of you. You have done so much for me since I got here, and I was nothing more than a stranger to either of you.
Akia will sort of move in closer to the middle of the group now that they're done with whatever they were doing. And it looks like they want to ask a question, but they're kind of waiting.
Yeah, Lotus kind of sees you moving, and then she'll step off to the side and say, "Akia, did you want to address anyone?"
I have a concern. I know there must be other people born on the midwinter holiday. But the church says that I'm the last one. And the implications are frightening. Does anyone have any insights into that?
The sheriff will look to you and say, "Unfortunately, the amount of record keeping in Brenshander is quite poor, so trying to discover that type of information might take a while for us. We could try to look into it for you to see who all we know or can find out was born on the midwinter holiday, see if there are, as they say, no midwinter children."
Things like birth records, any other type of documentation.
Right. That type of stuff, well, it's a priority, I assume, in cities like Baldur's Gate. Maybe even Neverwinter, but here in Bryn everyone's just worrying about that next meal. Or waiting for someone to stab them in the back. We don't have that luxury.
Akia just looks a little sad, and we'll move over to Kuma and get ready to leave.
One more thing before we leave, Lotus will say, like, you all have known me as Lotus, and if you like, you may still continue to address me as such.
The sheriff will say, "Of course. I'll address you as your name, Lotus. The one that I know you by, at least."
Listen, it seems like most of us are hell bent on kicking the can down the road about this whole cult of Auril business. I mean, let's call it what it is. But I think we're forgetting the fact that the High Mightiness, basically laid out an excuse as far as expanding her influence only if Auril wills it. I mean, she's got, world domination written all over her. I think, murdering this in its crib is, the best course of action, honestly.
The speaker will say, kind of taking the lead. And by murder this in its crib, you speak of the Church of Auril itself? Do we go after its members? What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean so much the whole world domination aspect. The problem, it seems, with any religion, I'm not just, picking on Auril, and I'm not, saying Lathander can't, benefit from some outside perspective. And I want to talk because I'm a recent, adherent of Tempest. But the fact remains that religion seems to get, owned back because of the individuals that make it up. So if we can, maybe force a change of leadership, or just, get them to see reason and not this weird blind following. No, I'm not saying, kill them all. I'm saying we need to do some kind of action, and the sooner we take it, the better everyone will be. That's it. I mean, the longer you're, under the influence, the harder it is to, come up for air.
The speaker will nod to you and say, that is incredibly insightful for the situation. I can try to start a dialogue with the High Priestess. To try to see if I can't speak reason into them.
That's sort of the thing. Is I don't know if they can be reasoned with. And I'm not saying don't try. It's just Sybil has the most to gain, and if she can, say this is all the name of Auril wills it. She can, pad her own, living situation. Take ties, things like that. But it's the folks in the lower rung that might be easier to reach.
Speaking of the people on the lower rungs, excuse me, we still have that cauldron that we need to decide what to do with, and it is weighing down the sled.
I suppose what we could do is, make that cauldron available to everyone. It's got to be under secular control, though, and it's got to be in a situated in such a way that people, know it's coming from the established leadership, not from the church. Maybe we need to do establish like a religion-free zone. in the city. Leave the vestments at the door, as it were.
Gaiman, I think you're onto something there.
Because I mean, when I was in Helm's Deep, like if you were like on downtrodden and whatnot, the churches were pretty keen on getting you in the door, for soup, bit of bread, things like that. However, you had to pray with them first. So maybe it's not a reverse soup situation, if that makes any sense. Like, well, we're not saying abandon your religion, but you can't talk shop in this soup kitchen.
If Sybil banned her followers from entering such a kitchen, it might actually aid our endeavor of swaying the people's hearts away from the church.
Worth a shot.
If not, at least the people will be fed. Either way, we should return to Church of Lathander.
If you all need to go, I understand, the sheriff will say. It sounds like you all have some places to go, people see, and we can get things figured out from our side, the sheriff will say. And the speaker will pop up, and I will begin our dialogue, or attempted dialogue, with the priestess of the Church of Auril.
Of course. As always, this town is in good hands with you two.
They will present hands for handshakes.
Gaiman will go up and shake their hands and say, I don't like leaving you alone like this. But if we're going to go after Bleeding Red Yeti, at least we can do is, arm you with the tools to try and, reverse the progress made here by Auril and the cult.
And I guess, so where are the sleds at this point? Are the sleds back at the gate?
I assume they're with the B team at the church.
Okay.
Yep, they would. You guys could take your sleds through town, just like you would your car. I know there are some kind of strange towns out there, like Mackinac Island in Michigan, where you got to leave your car on the boat. You got to take the horse in or your bicycle in. This isn't one of those places. You can just drive your car right through town.
Okay. It's just we never discussed it, and so I don't know where the cauldron is. So I don't know if it's a matter of I just pop downstairs and grab it, or whether it's okay, I got to go cross town and bring it back.
Well, we left the B team and the sleds as far as
Okay. Well, in that case, Gaiman is going to head out by himself and go and grab the cauldron.
Akia's going to because they're tired of the conversation.
Yeah, Lotus wouldn't want you going by yourself either, so...
Well, I'm not going by myself. Akia's coming with.
Yes, and I'm coming along as well.
All right.
I'm not going.
Michonne's there.
So she is.
No, that was it. Akia turned around and started walking. They didn't.
Okay. Gavin falls in step.
We've split the party, maybe.
Is that you guys' goal? Are you guys going to split the party here? Or are you guys going to move as a cohesive unit through the streets of Icewind Dale? Or, excuse me, through the streets of Bridge?
Sounds like they just kind of just started moving.
Start moving? All right.
If they've left, it doesn't seem like there's actually any type of distance. I just have it up for an hour, so I'm just gonna send the eye following after them.
Absolutely. And your eye has not caught anyone trying to come up into the hallway or past the intersection, anything along those lines.
I would say as we're traveling to get the cauldron, Lois would tell you, just like she told the speaker and the sheriff, it's like, nothing's really changed between us, I feel. You all can still feel free to call me Lotus if you like.
Who are you saying that to?
To you, Akia and Gaiman.
Did I miss something when I was AFK? Did you give out your real name?
Yes.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
that was a bad AFK.
I'll go ahead and pop it up in the chat real quick.
What you miss when you go get a drink.
Mm-hmm. Happens to the best of us.
It was her way of basically, cementing the trust between herself and the sheriff and the speaker, and also with you all as well.
And Gaiman took that opportunity to beat up on the imp because he thought that Lotus was going to be putting herself in danger by
And it's
sharing
like,
this.
no, the imp knew it already because it's on the contract.
Gaiman still doesn't understand contract law.
I
Even
feel like
with a
contract law is a lot like...
Listen.
Law.
He's smart, but he needs context.
True.
No, I'm just saying. Got to get a lawyer. Even smart people, even lawyers hire other lawyers.
I know a lawyer, if you guys...
That is
know.
true.
He's a tiefling, and he's very committed to his work.
Oh, no. We're not bringing Chandras into this.
Just don't watch him read.
What?
He may have some additional details for how he studies for cases in my game. Anyways, you could just say he really likes to get his whole body into the law. Okay. Party is split. On your guys' way to get the cauldron, the outside is once again quite demure and, unfortunately enough, quite different to what you have experienced in Icewind Dale. There is melancholy on the people's faces to match their frosted tips. The children sing songs and lamentations of the Frostmaiden. Her frost flake symbol is highlighted on buildings as you walk to the sleds at the House of the Morning Lord. What conversations are had or information shared as you make your way to the House of the Morning Lord?
I don't hate this. It's kind of nice.
You say that, and Lotus is sort of like biting her lip. It's like, I mean,
Well,
I can kind of. Go ahead.
I do know the circumstances matter. Just outside of that, kind of nice.
I don't know. It's like seeing this, it's reminding me of pictures and things I read in books about, she's trying to figure out how to explain it because, she's literally from another world. about something similar that happened that ended up resulting in a rather violent and bloody war.
Well, it's calm and peaceful right now. Not to say that will never change, just it is a calm, peaceful day.
As people walk by you, they say, "May Frost guide your path."
Always does.
May Frost guide your path. A couple that you walk by, they both look to you and bow, hand to their chest, and they say, "Her cold hand guides."
And Gaiman will mutter to the others, "You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just like blind adherence to, the leadership."
Yeah, Lotus nods, and then she leans over to you, Game, and whispers to you, like, well, if we weren't holding on to what little piece we have here, I'd tell them what Auril can do with her frozen hand.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, this is why I don't like the idea of abandoning, Bryn Shanda in its time of need, because it sends a message that other things are more important. And yeah, they kind of were like, out killing a hag and whatnot while all this went down. But our actions now, how we're perceived now, is going to impact how we're able to get along later. So we don't want to be, throwing the first punch. We definitely need to be careful about, making sure that we don't capture, innocent bystanders in any conflict. And it's a real fight over hearts and minds. I mean, potentially literally because of the magics.
Akia doesn't hear any of it.
Lotus does nod along with you because she, being a journalist, knows all about that.
I mean, this is nuts. I mean, this is like, I don't know, this is like politics back in, Waterdeep. I mean, it's like freaking, the church against, the normies. I mean.
Oh, yes, I know this all too well.
Y'all still whispering?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This would be perfect if they would stop greeting me so often.
Yeah, I guess one way to look at it, Kia, is considering how they look at you, you're kind of a celebrity.
They don't react too much to that, but they definitely don't look happy about it.
I think I see what's going on, Akia. It's the whole parasocial relationship thing's really getting to you.
That might be it. I don't like them being so friendly towards me. It feels fake in some way. Yes, I mean, that's what we describe right now.
So you're able to approach quickly to the Church of the Morning Lord. You can see the sleds outside, your gear packed on top. It appears that everything is in its proper spot.
So is it just Michonne at the Temple of the Morning Lord? Like it would be Michonne and Alicia that are normally sort of staffing it, or are there other adherence to
Oh, it'd just be
Lathander.
Bashan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At least it's
In that case,
cargoes.
if possible, Gaiman, after he collects the cauldron, is going to suggest maybe that we swing by the, the Temple of Tempest, see how they're faring. Because if it's a matter of, religion, then the sectarians, maybe well, not sectarians, but those who are the followers of Lathander, the followers of Tempest, should just band together to create the religion-free zone and set up the soup kitchen.
As long as it's not in the back of a Prius, then you can definitely set up the soup kitchen.
I'm not getting the reference.
I feel like Marcus definitely did. We got to move on. We don't want to disrupt the session. I apologize.
Okay. I don't know. It seems like a reference thing, and someone will have to explain it to me after the session.
All right.
The B teams here. Are we gonna do anything with them before we continue?
I guess now that
I mean,
since
is the B team still here?
Yeah.
oh yeah, that is
Here.
the big question. Yeah.
All right.
You guys can hear voices from within. It seems like something is happening.
Okay. It sounds like something's happening.
All right. Well, let's have butchers.
So as you open the door, you see that a table has been flipped over. The table was actually a set of pews, and locked hand in hand in an arm wrestling match are Blarton and Icewind Dale, as they are trying to push one another's hand down to the ground in this arm wrestling match. You see that coins are being thrown onto the pew in betting as people are smoking cigars and drinking this sacramental wine. You see Michonne has her hands on her hair as someone who feels like they can't control the situation. You see that someone is counting all of the coins quite meticulously. That person is Mr. Cooper Knobberknocker.
They seem
Where's
to be doing
Watto in
fine.
all of this?
In a go-go dancer cage.
You know, you say that, but that wouldn't surprise me.
That's why I said it.
So, dressed in a bondage outfit, locked into a cage. Behind them, you see the mummy, Saynar, is beatboxing. No, none of this is happening, except for the arm wrestling match. That is really happening. But there's not a bondage Watto with a beatboxing mummy behind her. They are just trying to pass the time with some quick bets and some arm wrestling. That's what you see when you guys enter into the House of the Morning Lord.
Does anyone in here feel as if they are losing their mind?
Mr. Knobberknocker will look to you and says, I'm going to lose my mind with all the money I've been making betting on these arm wrestling matches.
All right. It
Lotus.
seems like everyone is well.
Lotus will look at him like, and just sort of mumble under her breath. It's like, is this how people entertain themselves before phones existed?
Or, they could, read a book, have a conversation. I mean, it really depends on the personality of the individual.
It's like, oh yeah, I could see that, but remember what happened with the library?
Everyone, when you are finished, we could probably use your help setting up a soup kitchen.
Michonne will say, finally, a voice of reason. When you say soup kitchen, what do you mean? What are we going to be doing?
Well, we're going to be feeding the masses and given recent developments as far as, the religious fervor. We are hoping that we can, wherever it's set up, that we make it a religion-free zone, no offense.
So a place that's secular from the worship of the deities of Faerun, a place just to give people help and assistance.
Right. To combat the rather intense takeover of late of people's people's jeez. As smart as Crowns made me, I'm drawing a blank as far as what I'm trying to say, but just I feel like everyone's been taken advantage, by the Church of Auril. Goodwill, good nature, something like that. And I'm hoping that the current leadership, the legitimate leadership of this town, can kind of sway hearts and minds back to more sensible, governance and behaviour of everyone through full stomachs.
We need to find a location to set up this soup kitchen. And probably some volunteers to staff it.
Well, I want to swing by Temple of Tempest. We might be able to get some volunteers there. But, we've made good headway at the Bouncy Goat. Maybe we want to set it up there. It's less sticky, since I threatened that one bloke who was throwing weed everywhere. And not to mention that, we've successfully driven off the drug trade.
Well, that is a good point, and it is a tavern, so it's already well set up for very large crowds to serve food to.
Would that be extremely detrimental or helpful
No,
to their
here's the thing,
business?
though. Like, the food's free, the booze is not.
If it was too helpful to their establishment, it might cause problems for other taverns.
You find a truly neutral setup. I mean, we basically have to find like an abandoned house or a warehouse, something large enough to accommodate the number of people that we passing through, but something that isn't tied to, say, Tempest or the Thunder or any other, establishment. That's kind of
It's
hard to do, potentially. I don't know the lay of the land for real estate here.
On second thought, the bouncy goat would be easier.
Right, I mean,
Let's
can always
just do
relocate.
Shall we proceed to the bouncy goat and to the Temple of Tempest?
All right, sounds good.
I would say before we do, while you all were having a discussion, I'd go over to Watto and give him the rundown of everything that we revealed to the speaker and the sheriff. And I'd say, so, Watto, you're obviously intelligent. So, and I'll go ahead and spend this here. What's your take on this whole situation?
And you say that Flavy sensed not only arcane energy, divine energy, from the statue here in town, but it's pulsating out these radioactive waves into everyone's minds.
Yes, and the thing is, people like you and myself, ones who have magical abilities, though, seem to be immune to its influence.
Yes, it seems that only select members of the population are able to resist it. I believe I am able to resist it because of my demonic past.
Indeed, though... Levy did say something interesting. I mean, it seems impossible, though, right? The sun? Auril herself seems to be using their power to block it out. Is there any way you could think of that, even if for a moment, that we might be able to use it to help us?
Well, the sun, as we all know, is an almost primordial power. It causes the plants to grow. It causes, us all to be alive. Without it, I'm afraid what will happen to the population without it, its influence upon our bodies. It, well, in a way, it makes the world go round. I think we will need to find a way to bring back the sun, bring back spring. We cannot let winter continue.
Indeed. I will say this before we do leave this place. That is something I definitely want to bring here. It is something else my mother instilled in me, that any place you go, you should do your best to try to leave it better than when you found it.
I like that. Which is the antithesis of most situations.
In any case, I shall be off to help set up the soup kitchen with the others, and don't worry, darling. You and I will be threading the weave later on.
Indeed. Indeed, dear.
Just give me a kiss and then head off with the others.
As everyone goes to turn around, players, you see that Avlos is starting to make what appears to be giant feet made of snow.
What the blazes are you doing?
Huh? What?
You've got a Bigfoot fetish.
Well, I figure if Auril has a statue, Sylvanas should have one. Balance.
Okay, that's fair. Just didn't want you going making another Auril statue. I mean, did a bunch of that stuff after he touched it earlier. But we gotta be getting on to the Tempest to check in there too. You good here?
Yes, mine won't be evil.
If it is, I'm knocking it down.
So you would knock down my sculpture, but not that of Auril's.
No, I'm just saying it's evil, knock it down. And it's just a small matter of that statue goes boom if I knock it down right now.
You think my god is evil after this long time of traveling with me?
No, it's just I'm
Whatever.
just saying,
Avlos just goes
he
back
could.
to building his statue.
Wait, were you fucking with me?
No, I am offended. So I stopped talking.
Oh. Sorry, mate. I thought it was being, clever, a bit cheeky. I apologize.
It's looking good, Avlos. I don't think I've ever seen such detailed feet before.
I just realized Avlos is like 90% Eeyore.
I'm kind of getting that. Yeah.
You can
it's like-
shit on my god if you
Yeah.
want.
It's like 90% Eeyore, 10% Batman, but mostly Eeyore. Thanks, Lotus and Gaiman. It's okay, but my god is not evil.
Well, I know your god isn't evil. I was just
And-
being snarky.
And he'll look to Akia and say, and perhaps Auril may not be either. As a goddess of nature, often those that are evil may lend toward the destructive and chaotic aspects of her. Worshippers may be evil, but she herself may not be. And I'm going to offer that up to Akia as really all he has. Go back to making the feet. I guess now he'll move on to the ankles of his snow statue.
Thank you, Avalos. That's quite comforting.
It
It's-
is. Oh, sorry.
It's not something that anyone has offered to me before, and I really appreciate it.
Of course, things are not often as white as snow or black as coal. Often, there are many shades in between that others do not see.
May I help you with your statue?
Of course.
Well, I mean, if you guys are going to be playing in the snow, I guess I'll just go on a Temple of Tempest by myself then.
Oh, no, that's all right. I can go. I can go with you, Gaiman. I've actually been kind of eager to see it myself.
Well, what you weren't in before? I thought you tagged along previously.
Well, I think I may have, but it's always good to learn more.
All right.
And I guess Gaiman will head off towards the temple.
Absolutely. While this is happening, Alicia, did you just stay back with the speaker and the sheriff this whole time?
Yep.
Okay, let's zoom back to you. So, during the time that the party all left, what are you hoping to accomplish with the speaker and the sheriff?
Lewis had mentioned, or at least, wait, sorry. Now I'm trying to get facts straightened in my head. It was Flavy that mentioned that the Return of the Sun, yes?
Yes, that they would need the power of the sun would be enough to counteract the effects of the statue.
Okay. That device that Lotus is using mentioned the Return of the Sun would be something that is necessary to end whatever that statue is doing. I had planned on putting together an expedition to head over to Grimscald over the Sea of Moving Ice. Apparently, we had learned some information that whatever this eternal winter is having may be linked over there. Some ruins to giants. I was hoping that there would still be some resources that I could borrow from Brinchander when the time came, but seeing as how things have progressed, that's going to be a little bit harder to do. Is there anything that this town would be able to spare for such an expedition?
Sheriff looks to you and says, well, of course we can spare any food, those type of supplies that you need, anything for your dogs. I can, of course, supply a map. Anything along those lines that you can need to navigate within the realm of Icewind Dale. And he looks to the speaker and says, I think it might be a good idea to offer the final supply. And you see that the speaker nods.
I don't want to be taking anything that would be taken away from the people of this town, but I have a shaking feeling that if what's needed to drive back this growing influence of Auril, I think it may have to be at Grimscald. This eternal winter needs to end. And it seems things continue to get, well, what's the saying? We're putting bandages on the various wounds that come up, but we're not dealing with the actual sickness itself.
The speaker will say, then it's time for us to give you a supply of something that we were supposed to keep behind in case the companions of Mithril Hall ever returned. I have a supply of potions, spell scrolls that I can give you in order to keep them in case of any dire situations, like a raid by a group of wandering frost giants, or if it looked like that dragon was going to continue its streak of devastation all the way back to us. Use it then. Will you accept this amount of potions and scrolls for your journey?
Well, first there has to be the commitment from the rest of the Thanes that that is the direction that we need to go in. It seems most of them are quite split on different objectives and how to handle them. If there's a way to actually convince them of this, then I would say yes, I would accept whatever you're able to provide, but I don't know. We can investigate the spire off to the east, see if that digs up anything, but if things progress to get or continue to progress getting worse, then I feel like we may actually have to take that journey. Maybe
Nod.
hold on to them for a bit.
And I will keep the supply for when you need it most. We have it here for you whenever you need.
Thank you. Well, I shouldn't be away from them for too long. Who knows what's going to happen. Stay safe and keep your heads on the swivel. Who knows what else is going to be coming out from this growing rime. And at least we'll kind of give them a bow and take their leave and head over to the House of the Morning Lord.
Absolutely. And as you would exit, you can bring your arcane eye with you. And
I sent the arcane eye after Gaiman and the others, so it's
Okay.
hovering around them.
So you would know that they that Lotus and Gaiman are now going to make their way toward. Sorry, a cat just attacked my foot. Making their way towards the House of Tempest, the Order of the Broken Blade.
Right. Well, I don't think it picks up on auditory. I think it's just visual. But seeing as Akia and Avalis are staying at the House of the Morning Lord, then yeah, it would continue following Gaiman and Lotus.
Excellent. All right, then let us swing focus over to Gaiman and Lotus as they head toward the House of the Broken Blade, the Temple of Tempest.
I would say as we're approaching Gaiman, Lotus is instructing you on the finer points of pronouncing. No, it's I know this may seem weird. It's Evilise. I know it starts with an I, but it's pronounced like an E.
That's over a while ago. I'll just call you Lotus.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, you have since I first met you, so I guess that'd probably just be easier.
And I would like to point out that you've got evil in your name.
Yes, I am aware, and I knew this might be a bit of a sticking point for you, but I figured not as much since you've got that smart thing on your head now.
It's not a smart thing, it's a crown. And I'm lucky enough that it has enhanced my intelligence.
Yes, but that name was given to me by my parents, though really, it was more my mother's thing, because it's a traditionally draconic name.
Oh, good, because I was going to say, it's a bit suspect if it's coming from your, demon papa.
I guess the thing is, I never really, before all this and everything, I never knew he was a demon. He was just my dad.
Well, I'm just saying now, given what we are, aware of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things, like you learn something new this and it answers a lot of questions that you never really thought to ask before. Like, never really saw him working, and you see her make air quotes, but, he always seemed to be fairly successful, and, Mom and I never really wanted for much of anything, but, I always figured that came from Mom working a union job.
Now, as you are having this conversation, the House of Tempest comes quickly into your viewpoint.
Gimmon's going to go up and knock on the door.
And those will just be right behind you.
A acolyte of Tempest opens the door. You see that they are not dressed in the garb of Auril the Frostmaiden and her frosted flake design. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. And he looks out and around, and he notices that it is you, Damon. He says, "Ooh, finally a familiar face."
I know, isn't this great? I mean, you're not the silly frost garb of Auril. Yeah, I was hoping I could speak with the head priest about some ideas. We're trying to, play the political game and see if we can't win the hearts and minds of the people, since they've been, mind washed by Auril. Or I should say, the Church of Auril.
The acolyte nods. Please, you both can come in.
Thank you.
Really? I got nothing on it. It's great. No, and I got nothing on the Tony the Tiger reference on the Frosted Flake.
I'm sorry, you all. I didn't tell you guys this at the beginning of the stream. My pun energies were drained this week. I was attacked by big old wave of sadness because our dog Norma was in the vet. The dogs all decided to jump her into the Sheba gang behind the shed, and we've been having to nurse her back to health after taking her to the vet. She's got her cone on. She's got a couple of drain ports on her. Anyways,
I'm sorry, man.
Wow.
Yeah, they tore her ass up. Anyways, I feel like my typical on the ballness has been off this week with that happening. Anyways,
That is very understandable. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You didn't come into the backyard and say, "If we're jumping in Grace, I'm jumping in too. Where's the shovel?" Anyways,
This is true.
she is resting comfortably in our bathroom. All right, y'all. They welcome you inside the halls of Tempest, the Lord of Battle. The walls are decorated with weapons and the signs of storm iconography. Lotus, you haven't maybe paid attention as closely as Gaiman has the last time he was here, or maybe this might be your first time. But you notice that a lot of the people that worshiping are in here appear to be battle veterans. Some of them nursing wounds, some of them recovering from injuries that they recovered in past battles, some of them suffering from injuries that they won't recover from in these battles.
Yeah. She sees this and then she flashes back to expose story she did about the inadequacies of various supposed veterans advocacy organizations.
Absolutely. When you arrive, the head priest, you recognize this gentleman, Gaiman. He is a older human who has been injured in battle. His main goal is to elevate those who can still fight to their fullest and provide them a shelter in the home of Tempest. When he sees you both arrive, he looks at you and with a stern glance, "Be you worshippers of that damn Frostmaiden? Or are you still true to yourselves?"
Gaiman just sort of looks at the head priest, looks at Lotus, looks at himself, looks back at the head priest. Like, does it look like we're wearing monkey suits?
No, and you're not carrying any bananas. You be the Gaiman that I know, then. Welcome to the House of Tempest.
Gaiman will reach out his hand and we'll do like the forearm clasp, handshake business.
Absolutely. Lotus, you can see that there is a collision in their arms of extreme muscular power as they clasp their hands. All of the dust in the room that had settled on top of the furniture falls to the ground.
He watches the display here, lets them finish, and then says, "You do not need to worry. Even before all of this, I had no love for the Church of Auril. If I had to pick any deity, I was more of a worshipper of Bahamut before I came here."
That Bahamut be a good man. Dragon. Man. Thing. Guy, the priest will say.
Yeah, anyway, right, so we've come with a proposition. The Church of Lathander, those few that man it, and the followers of Tempest, I would like to propose that we band together. We have succeeded in liberating a magical cauldron. What can, feed many with few resources. And we were wanting to set up, at least initially, over at the Bouncy Goat, meeting on neutral ground, as it were. That way we can feed all those that need nourishment, and it would be a religion-free zone, more importantly. I know it's a bit of a stretch having, members of the religious community run it, but the idea is that it forces followers of Auril on the back foot. Because if they can't fend for, their followers, but everybody else can, and we're not talking religion, it changes the conversation. What say you?
The warrior, priest of Tempest, looks to you and says, "Well, Tempest and Lathander share no alliances on the grounds of Mount Celestia, or across the multiverse that they travel. We are not them, and they are not us, and they do not suffer how we suffer here in the material plane. The Church of Auril is strong, and we can only be strong if we band together. You have the support of the Band of the Broken Blade.
That's wonderful to hear. Well, now that we've got a plan of action, Lotus and those who've come with, we're going to go set the cauldron up over at the Bouncy Goat. So, I guess when you get a moment, come on over and set up shop.
The priest will nod. And Damon, I don't know if we've ever shared anything more than a few words. But you can call me friend. And you can call me my name. And they will take down their hood to reveal their face. And let me drop that picture into chat.
Oh, amazing.
It's been a while, and Avalis, I think this was before your time, but there are several NPCs the party met at the beginning of this adventure, who all may have happened to look exactly like Johnny Depp. And this is another one of them.
Fair enough.
He will tell you, you can call me Ford.
Well, Ford, thank you for your willingness to help and do a different kind of battle in the name of Tempest.
In the name of Tempest, let his lightning strike down the unworthy.
Ah. And I guess at this point, with the plan of action ready to go, Gaiman will go and grab the cauldron and the rest of the B team and go set up over the Bouncy Goat.
Absolutely. As that is happening, for the people that stayed behind at the House of the Morning Lord, are you guys getting up to any issue? Any trouble?
We're just building a snowman. But I was hoping, Akia, you could tell me what it means to you to be a child of winter.
Well, what does it mean to be your mother's child? I suppose the feeling is the same way.
Did she have a hand in creating you?
Not exactly. More.
Oh no, he's standing on the table.
My mother that created me.
She moved the organ.
My mother that created me. Sorry, I'm being interrupted. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Please continue without me.
Is it, I assume then, like you were chosen? In which case, that is kind of like me. I did not know my birth family either, really, but I was taken in by those that raised me. And I always felt that those that were chosen were loved most of all.
Yes, when I left home, it was the cold and ice that became my new home.
It is interesting how those from the south, strangers to our land here, find ice and snow harsh and forgiving, whereas you and I can see the comfort and beauty in it.
It is. I often tell people that if they don't like it in the cold, then they should travel south. It seems to just make people angry, though.
I don't know why. It's practical advice. If you don't like your situation, change it.
Indeed.
Also, as I teach you this language, I find it most beneficial to start with the bad words first. They're usually the ones people seem to want to know. So, in Sylvan, they're quite beautiful, if not overly descriptive.
Interesting.
Because that's how you should learn any language.
Yeah, you gotta learn what a pendejo is. Otherwise, you're not gonna know what half the words you're being told are.
What'd you say to me? Yeah.
No, it's okay. I don't think it means anything bad.
Yeah, so I think Avalis and Akia would just spend the rest of their time until people collect them, building the statue of Sylvanus. And I don't know how far they get, but you can tell us, maybe at a very awkward level. And
Here, let's do this. I want each of you to roll me 1d10. Both Avalis and Akia both give me 1d10.
Can I fanspo that?
That's not a D20 roll.
Damn it!
If you want to add your fanspo to it, wait, your fanspo. Yeah, you don't want to use your fanspo on this. You could use your faxpiration on it.
Oh, that's what I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I did not mean
words.
fanspo. Sorry, I totally meant faxpiration. Yeah,
you can use your fact.
I'm gonna do that. We're gonna add a D8 to that.
Okay. This is going to be how
Same.
tall it is.
Oh, you son of a D8.
So that's 6, 9. It's 10 feet tall snow statue. That's pretty good.
How tall was the
50.
50? Oh, it's like an itty bitty little convenience store next to a super Walmart.
Oh yeah. Or other descriptions that make you feel even less adequate.
Maybe we just get to like the knees, so it would be a 50-foot tall statue if it was done, but we only have 10 foot of lower leg.
Absolutely. You guys are going to need a lot of dowel rods to make sure that thing is nice and suitable.
As it kind of softens and refreezes, a layer of hoarfrost and ice will form, making it much more sturdy when we continue it at some point. Until then, 2 calves of Sylvanas.
Nice. And Kumakyu has made a tiny igloo.
Excellent. At this moment, I would say serendipity, the Lady Alicia, the Lord Gaiman, and Master and Mistress. No, I'm just kidding. Lotus and Akia, you guys are all present, watching this beautiful statue be built. You guys all arrive on the scene together to see this.
Just his massive pair of lower legs.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Can't you tell? It's the Oak Father, the great hunter.
I will say it does seem like the Oak Father certainly hasn't skipped leg day.
No, he achieves balance in all aspects.
Yeah, definitely never skip leg day.
I ask because it's difficult to identify one just by their calves alone.
Well, ideally at some point we would finish the sculpture.
Fair enough.
You have to imagine there's, yay high more. And emotions like all the way to where 40 feet would be or so, like above where they left off.
It
You know,
took a
like
full
up there.
It took a full team and many days for them to construct their statue. I don't expect it to be done. Yours to be done within a day or so, but at least it's a start.
Yes, Auril's frost may linger, but Sylvanus' growth is eternal. In any event, I think a additional statue might take both some of the stigma away from Auril having a statue there, as well as, show the people that there are, I don't know. And he realizes, he's tried, to get a point across without offending Akia either, and he finds it very hard to do so.
It's less about the statue, but what it's doing. It
Yes,
is very
it is
beautiful. It's very well constructed and well made. But what it's doing is the issue. If it was just a statue for appreciation or for someone to use to just worship, that's another story. But the fact that it is almost near instantly changed the thinking of a whole town, that's not natural.
In any event, if we're ready to go or do what is next, we are ready.
Maybe at some point in the future, a ice sculpting festival could be something.
At the mention of that, Lotus perks up. She's like, "Ooh, festival! I love festivals."
Yeah, well, we kind of have to get past a certain roadblock. But if we've reached a good stopping point with Mr. Muscular Legs, let's head over to the bouncer goat with the cauldron. Get that set up.
All right. I think we take the B team with us this time.
Absolutely, you can take
Yeah.
the B team with you. You can see that they are still inside. The party has actually advanced a little bit, so now that they have moved on from arm wrestling to leg wrestling. So they are laying on their backs on the ground on the signal of 3, 2, 1, go. They begin trying to push down each other's legs as hard as they can to see who is the more powerful individual.
What the fuck is this? Seeing the mess that they have created.
And how did Red win?
I may not look like it, but I have sturdy roots, and they will show you their rooty legs.
Ah, makes sense now.
You, clean up this now.
In unison, they say, "Yes, Mom," as they look at you and Blarton and and Icewind Dale begin to get some mops, they get some brooms, and begin to clean up the dust that they have accumulated on the ground.
I will say, Lotus will put her hands on her hips, taking the pose of a Baldur's Gate 3 creative protagonist, and say, "And Watto, really? Really? I expected better of you."
He looks down and he says, "What? I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun to watch them leg wrestle."
Does that mean I can't call a turn?
Yeah, you see, Avalus wanted to turn.
Because I could turn into, like, something with really strong legs.
Or multiple legs.
I wonder if there's a creature made of legs.
Well, hold on. Multiple legs seems like it's a bit like cheating.
Well,
It
I
be
would
interesting.
have multiple opponents.
Mm-hmm.
That might balance things out.
Again,
But Sean
balance.
will speak up and say, "Multiple opponents, you say? Avalus, I didn't know you were the type for a menage a trois, or a menage a more than trois."
Well, of course. I mean, I will take on as many as I. Oh. And he just gets beat red and says, "No, it's just us, just us two."
I mean, I don't understand. I don't speak Elven.
Alicia will explain it to you later.
All right. But, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, they can put everything back to rights. It didn't make that much of a mess. And, you know, this is productive. I mean, they're
This is
training.
a place of worship, not a fight club.
With
I have
nobody around
seen-
doing any worshipping.
I have seen what fight clubs turn into. That will
It's
not
not
be.
a bladed fight club. They're leg wrestling. That's different.
Just stares at you.
David stares back.
To be fair, the Temple of Tempest does have a more open floor, so it may provide a better fit. Oh, that's not the point we're making.
It just points to Avalus like he made a point. Why are they doing it there?
Well, they didn't come with us to, you know, the Temple of Tempest.
Well, it seems like
I
that
mean,
was,
I'm
that
sure
was
that
their mistake.
I mean, honestly, they could, you know, I could probably speak with Ford, and you know, we could set up, you know, a wrestling club or something.
We're gonna win Rime of the Frostmaiden with a soup kitchen and a wrestling club.
I bet we could make money for people that want to wrestle a trained bear, and we don't have to tell them that I'm the bear. That way we can ensure nobody gets hurt. Just thought, profit. No? Okay.
No, it's a good idea. I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Would you say it's a very good idea?
I would. Red the berry bush. We'll pipe up at that. Can't give out any more berries though, because you guys took all of his berries from him last time.
Gaiman's just gonna stare at you and say, "No, bad Atlas. If you do it again, I'm gonna spank you."
Sorry. And do me a favor, if you would. Try not to mention spanking around me, Sean. She's enthusiastic.
He's not wrong. My fervor extends further than just for the Lord. And she claps her hands. As if
Atlas
doing
like flinches.
Oh no.
Are you deliberately misbehaving for her? All right, whatever. I won't mention it.
She keeps a tally.
And don't think I didn't notice all of your friends here wrestling on the floor, Atlas.
But I had no knowledge of that.
You see her start to write something down in her dalliance tally book. It's one of those situations where you should have known. I'm just kidding. Okay. The allies all snap leg wrestling. They start to clean up the floor as per instructions from Alicia. And they are ready and available to kind of help out, to bring all of the things you guys need over to the Bouncy Goat to turn the former most sticky bar in Bryn Shander.
Glad we got that cleared up.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a place with a sticky floor. Or have a soup kitchen there. Oh, the soup kitchen reference, by the way, Gaiman, was from the movie The Other Guys, when they find a bunch of homeless guys fucking in Will Ferrell's car.
Okay then.
Or, excuse me, unhoused.
No. I mean, I was just like, they're fucking in the back of a Prius. That's a smaller vehicle.
And the only thanks that Will Ferrell gets is a thank you note that says thanks for the fuck shack from Dirty Mike and the boys.
That's just wrong.
That's wrong. Okay. So you guys can head over to the Bouncy Goat. Here, let me take us to the Bouncy Goat map. That's a fun map. The citizens of Icewind Dale all turn to the dark side of Auril, all staring at you as you make your way through the streets, your several companions leading the way. And it doesn't take you all long. You don't have any combat encounters or anything along those lines when you arrive at the Bouncy Goat.
So there's just like we're getting evil stares as we're going.
Yeah, you're getting looks.
Okay. In that case, as we're going, Gaiman will act as a town crier and say to those that he sees,
All who are hungry, who require sustenance, who are cold, you may get a free meal at the Bouncy Goat. Leave your religion at the door. All are welcome, but if you want food, you must meet everyone without preconceptions, and you must come in with an open mind.
and these just sort of variations of this, just letting everybody, let everybody know what we're doing, what we're going to set up there.
I like it. Just for a general vibe, you can give us a performance check, Gaiman, as you guys are making your way through the streets of Bryn Shander as Gaiman is announcing this to the crowd.
Okay, I'm going to burn that DM inspiration I picked up so I can roll with advantage.
Uh, that's a natural
Okay.
20. This is a fantastic performance that the entire crowd can see, and those of you with high perception scores can hear the subtle growling of stomachs as you make your way through the city streets. And people are looking at you all hungrily as the talk of meals was proclaimed.
So glad I rolled with advantage.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Absolutely. And as you guys are making your way through, you notice that there are some people who are still wearing their Auril cloaks, kind of following behind you guys at a pace of like maybe 35 to 50 feet, trying to incognito make their way towards these meals that were promised.
I would say as we get in, Lotus will say like, we'll sort of like set up at the near the front door here, sort of acting as a greeter, and anyone who comes up, she'll just hold out her hand just to gently stop them, just say, all are welcome here, but you leave your vestments, and she'll just sort of motion to the box next to her, here. You may pick them back up when you leave.
Okay, noted that if anybody comes in, they got to go through Bouncer Lotus. So, waiting for you all and the Bouncy Goat, of course. Or she probably would have walked with, is Michonne. And then the leader of the Order of the Broken Blade, Ford. Whose token is coming to the map in just a moment. Explain to me, party, what's your process as you bring in this giant cauldron? Like, where are you putting it? Who are you telling the details? Give me all of that kind of information.
Is it easier to come in through the front or through the back? I don't know how they would be set up, like whether they're just sort of like self-sufficient in terms of like bringing in food and supplies. I mean, the cauldron's pretty sizable.
It might be best behind the bar.
Right, yeah, I mean, obviously it's got to end up in the kitchen or behind the bar. But
So-
I'm just thinking in terms of like where to bring it in.
Well, is there a back door by the kitchen?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Oh, then yes, I second that question.
You would know that there is a back door because you threw that dirty drug dealer, Forrest Von Trier, out of the back door, along with that no good bard, Ziggy Stardust, so long ago that you could bring it through.
All right. Well, I'll bring it in through the back, and then I'll go seek out the manager and explain, what the deal is. That the food is free. They can, that is the absolute rule. That anyone who's hungry can come and get food. But if they want alcohol, they've got to pay for it. And because the food is free, if they want to, charge more for the alcohol, that seems to be fair compensation.
The manager. You see that these people here at the Bouncy Goat, the manager at least, seems to have not fallen under the charms of Auril, but most of the constituents inside when you arrive are wearing the dark blue cloak.
And I will explain that we are using the Bouncy Goat because it's, well known. It's set up for handling large numbers of people, and that this is just a temporary setup. But the hard and fast rule is no religion on the premises. This is a neutral zone, and that will also explain that those from the Temple of Tempest and the Temple of Morning Lord will be coming to assist. So his staff, they can, won't get overwhelmed, and they've all agreed that it will be a religion-free zone. So there shouldn't be any conflict. And if there is conflict, I can mediate.
The manager of the Bouncy Goat will nod to you and say, "Hey, this is just a bar job for me. We will try to keep it neutral in here as best as we can. And if anyone tries to make it not neutral, we'll come looking for you."
Excellent. And we'll also, unless you want this to be a permanent thing, we'll see if we can't find another location where you can, that way we can, move on, and you don't have to worry about trying to, balance everything out. You can go back to business as usual.
They will nod. And they will let you guys set up here to deliver free meals from the cauldron to the people within. And Lotus, and those of you who are kind of guarding the door, there are some acolytes who do walk in and produce their cloak and put it into the box that you have presented.
Yes, thank you. And any, the faces she recognizes, she'll just make, little small talk with them. Still, being Thane, she still wants to be friendly with everyone. It's like, oh, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Hello. Ah, especially you. How is your son doing?
And those who come in will return the small talk. But like some people from the southern part of the country who like to add "God bless" and "praise be His name" and those sort of like religious epitaphs after everything they say, they do similar type of deal with Auril at the end of their sentences.
Yeah.
So
Lotus says, nothing in return, just keeping up the small talk. Just giving them, like the ground rules, like, no, it's like no religion beyond the doors, and you're free to enjoy the food as you like. Any alcoholic beverages are on your own tab, and you are free to pick up your vestments on your way out.
excellent. The place is starting to fill up with people looking to eat themselves some delicious stew from the cauldron. Ford and Michonne are both here, and they both are kind of staring at each other as kind of diametrically opposed religious leaders here within the city of Bryn Shander. And they would stare to the party. Michonne is kind of giving the face of, are you going to introduce us? Are we going to talk about the terms here?
I mean, I don't know what this is all about, but we're all on the same side here.
Gaiman will say as it walks up to them.
This is an opportunity for.
Where's my token? There's my token.
This is an opportunity for us to change up the playbook, as it were. Give other options to the people. By insisting that this be neutral ground for everybody, everyone can come in, see everyone, working together, eating, get a sense of, we're all sort of in this together. And it gives them, a positive viewpoint or positive feelings associated with you lot. Now, if you happen to see anybody out and about, they engage, outside the bounds to go. You can converse, proselytize, whatever. But here, this is, neutral ground. Everyone is welcome. This is a campaign trying to win over the hearts and minds. It's not going to be a quick fix, but it's probably going to be the best fix, long term. It'll be slow going, but I believe this is the right move.
Mashon will speak up first. I agree with Gaiman. Lathander and Tempest have been at odds in the past. But this day, under a sunless sky, our enemy is the night and the creatures that dwell within it. Ford takes off his sunglasses, folds them, and puts them into his leather vest. Then we will not fight this battle alone. We'll fight it together. The Church of Auril doesn't know what's coming for them. Do they? Gaiman? And he looks to the other Thanes, or to any of y'all. You've got us behind you. I do ask, though. Would you like the Order of the Broken Blade to remain here to protect your cauldron?
Yeah, that will be best. And again, it's for
Be shown about this, saying that it's not about showing favoritism. It's about using the resources and using the skilled veterans to provide the protection needed.
Mm-hmm. Michonne will look over to Avalis and say, and this group of allies can move beyond Tempest and Lathander. I also know of another. The Oak Father, who might want to get in on this action.
There's a statue, but it's just calves now. And feet.
Ford will look over to you and say, calves and feet are a start.
Yes. That's a good foundation.
Excellent. All right, so you guys have set up the bouncy goat as a soup kitchen using the Cauldron of Plenty for people to come to and get free meals as long as they leave their religion at the door. And the Order of the Broken Blade will ensure, or do their best to ensure, that there is no funny business with the cauldron. It remains here, and that anyone who would attempt to steal it will have to face the blade. The time, we will say that a few hours have passed this day. So it is about 1 p.m. So, group, now that you have set this up as kind of a very cool station for people to come in and have a suite, and you're in the middle of Bryn Shander, what is your next plan? What is your next goal that you wish to go after?
There is something I did want to see real quick, just like here. I am at least curious. I don't want to go inside just yet, but I do want to kind of scope out my Thane cottage just to see if it's still intact.
I gotcha. Party, does everyone want to go with Lotus to check on her Thane cottage?
Sure.
I mean, unless she has reason to, or with only certain individuals, I mean, I don't see why not. So Gaiman kind of feels like he should stay behind and supervise, just to make sure everyone's playing nice.
I can help you with that, Gaiman, while they get a tour.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. So most of the B team will or half will go with Lotus, and half will remain behind. Lotus, of course, Watto is going to go with you to make sure your cottage is all ship shape. On the way over to the cottage, is there any conversations or questions that are asked between the PCs that are heading over that way?
Akio will ask Lotus what are the pros and cons of home ownership.
She'll actually tap her chin and say, I'll be honest, coming here was the first time I've ever really owned a home, if you could call it that. I mean, most of the time I didn't really need to do much, and back on my world I had rented an apartment for myself. It was kind of a nice place, had a good view of the bay and everything.
But what about the financial part of it?
Well, there is a fair bit of upkeep. You got to make sure you clean it regularly, and you can you have to make sure you invest in keeping the temperature. You also have to make sure you have the right furniture, but it is nice because you get to really choose like what it looks like and how it's laid out, and that's really all up to you. And well, of course, whatever zoning laws there are, but that apparently doesn't really apply here.
Is Alicia going with that team, or are they staying behind?
They stay behind.
But that is good, because then when we do get you a place of your own, you're free to set it up however you like. You can use it for storage. You can use it for whatever experiments you want to do. It is a place for you to use as you wish.
Akia just nods along.
And I will turn to Watto and say, like, you know, we can discuss this in more detail later, Watto, but we should really talk about what you are going to do when you do come back to Earth with me.
Well, don't they have libraries on Earth?
Oh, well, yes, they do. The city where I live has several public libraries, and ooh, that does remind me, someplace I could take you. It's a little bit of a drive to the capital of the country where I live, but there's this place called the Library of Congress where they actually have a copy of every book ever published.
That sounds like a miraculous feat. How do they have the storage space for all of those books?
Ooh, the building is very large. It's tall, goes very high up into the air, and even goes underground, too.
Well, I can't wait to see it when we do get to Earth.
I was also thinking you and I could, once you get settled in everything and starting all of it, we could take a little vacation to a place that's called the most magical place on Earth. Disney World.
He looks and he asks, is this a place of arcane magic that people go to draw power from the weave?
Not exactly, but we can. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, I see. And you guys can go in nauseum about the ins and outs of Disney World. Party, you do have the location to this lost spire of ancient technology. So that could be something that you guys could do once you find out. Lotus, your cottage appears to be absolutely fine. There's no break-in, obviously. The doors, windows, and roof all appear as they should. You don't see any outward signs of tampering in the building.
All right. She is a little bit relieved, but still a bit nervous, so she'll go and open the door and look. Just take a look, take a peek inside to see if anything's, at least if there's obviously anything out of place.
Absolutely. Okay, you unlock the door, open it up. When you go to look inside, you can give me I think this would actually be a good use of the investigation skill because you are literally rifling through, looking through things, making sure everything is there and if anything is out of place. So this would be investigation as you check through your home.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and spend a DM inspiration to get advantage. All right, 14.
Okay, you can see as you're looking through, everything appears to be on the up and up. There appear to be nothing missing, nothing added that you can find. It looks like you locked the place up as you should, and everything seems fine.
All right. I guess just for one last thing, just for Lewis, just to give herself peace of mind, she'll just use to just say, Flavy, just give a quick once-over of the room, see if there's anything arcane or technological here that I might have missed.
That Kuma will almost probably immediately find any scraps of food that are left behind or any cookies that may be out of the cookie jar.
Like Kuma finds my secret stash of Old Bay.
Oh no, not the Old Bay lube that you have, right?
What? No, God, no. Why would you even say that?
Hey, they made the sex toys that got colder in the height of the Twilight movies. Anything is possible.
It's like a battle of which couple's freakier.
I feel like that actually exists between certain couples in the neighborhood.
I'm sure it does.
Can you believe that? They just left their sex toys out on the kitchen table. When they come over for the barbecue next week, we have to outdo them. I can't let them win this. Real Housewives of Tippecanoe County is what I call that. Okay. Flavy does a in-depth scan. I cannot seem to find any residual, arcane, divine, or primal magics that should not already be here.
All right. I guess I'll over to Watto and I admit I was almost worried they would have treated this place like they did the library.
In a way, I'm glad that they did not. He'll look over to Kuma, who is searching through and rifling through. Akia, maybe your bear should be careful of what they find and what they're doing. I don't want them to find anything private.
Oh. Alright. Kuma, get out of there.
Yes, sir. He'll lean over. I don't want the bear to eat all the coconut oil. That's very hard to come by.
I'll lean over and say, yes, I know. I just can't believe that the prices the general store charges for that. Can you believe that 50 gold for that one vial?
Mm-hmm. But to be fair, it's shelf-stable forever, and its uses are endless. I mean, I comb my entire outer coat with the stuff. You guys do notice that Master Watto has an amazingly fluffy and shiny fur coat. Probably from all the coconut oil he rubs into himself.
Good to know.
Good to know. Okay. So, group, now that you know that the Lotus Cottage, or the Lotus Cabbage, as I kept trying to say last week, is all...
cabbage.
The Thane Cabbage is all nice and good. Do you all wish to meet back up with the other members of the party and leave for this Netherese spire that the sheriff was speaking of?
Yeah, after
I
having...
think we need a long rest first, because I think those who have magics need it. Plus, it gives me a chance to kind of observe and see if it's a largely positive response to the soup kitchen.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
Alrighty. Well, if you guys would like to grab a long rest, either staying at the House of the Morning Lord, Lotus's Cottage, the Bouncy Goat, you guys can long rest, unless there's anything you guys need to do before you get a long rest.
I would say, Akia, Lotus would look to you and Kuma and say, thank you for accompanying us, but I think Watto and I will be fine here by ourselves.
Okay.
Does Akia take the hint, or does Akia just stand there?
Akia does not take the hint, but will just leave because they just take it at face value, which it gives the same meaning.
That's fair.
I would say, just as Akia gets out of earshot, Lotus will say, so Watto, what do you think? tonight should we try the Bugbear Bend or the Transitive Plane?
I was actually thinking that we should go for, and this hopefully isn't too damaging to sensibilities. I read about this in a sea chart. Actually, it was written in the margins from a far-off world about a group of women from an island called Themis. It's called the Amazonian. I think that it will be an interesting position.
White. And fade to black.
Absolutely. See, Mike and Dave need wedding dates for more on the Amazon position. Okay. Anything else happen before the long rest?
Just a quick question as I select my spells. Knowing that we will encounter the Red Yeti, does Avalis, being raised by Yeti, know if they have any elemental weaknesses or vulnerabilities or resistances? Do I need to roll for that, or the fact that I spent 18 years with Yeti, I would probably know that?
You would know without the shadow of a doubt. Yeti have an aversion and weakness to fire.
Fire. Thank you, sir.
Yes, you would know that because you were literally raised by Yetis.
Yeah.
They tell you all the time, fire bad.
So I will pick the arid focus.
Gaiman would set up shop at the bouncy goat, and he would, just set up a chair in the corner where he could keep an eye on things, and potentially just fall asleep there.
Ord would probably see that you're doing your best to be diligent, and probably set up with a when you would wake up, you would have his leather jacket wrapped around your shoulders as a blanket.
That's a big ass leather jacket, then.
It's like a one of those kid-sized blankets that it just somehow finds its way onto your bed, and you're like, God damn it, this isn't big enough for anybody. How did this get here? I'm not speaking from personal experience, having slept with several toddler blankets. But yes, you would wake up with that. Akia, where are you finding yourself long rest for the evening?
Akia will probably hang out wherever they could just find room to work on the project they're working on. So probably like they would probably just be out back until someone was like, "Oh, you can." I figure someone would probably be nice and be like, "Hey, you can use one of the rooms upstairs if you want." But they'd probably be outside, and 50-50 chance someone will come along and put them in a room. 50-50 chance that they just stay out back.
All right, give us a D2 on a 1. Someone comes out and offers you a room. On a 2. No one comes out. All right, on a 1, one of the people that works at the Bounty Go comes out and offers you a room.
All right. So they do end up in a room, and they'll rest in there after a reasonable time of work.
Excellent. Okay, and we know where Lotus is going to be long resting. Alicia, for your long rest, are you going to be at the House of the Morning Lord, and what do you get up to?
Yeah. There's a second floor on the House of the Morning Lord, correct?
Absolutely.
Would it have view to the statue at the
Yes.
Church of Auril?
Yeah, this thing is so massive and just unsightly that you're going to be able to see this thing from just about anywhere in town.
Okay. I think Alicia doesn't immediately go to sleep. I think for maybe an hour or so, they're actually just kind of at the window on the second floor, and it's just kind of staring at the statue, just kind of looking at it, thinking to themselves.
I feel like this is like the moment where you guys can have like a montage song for how you're going to deal with the problems that you have presented for you. Group, what's the montage song that you think is playing at this moment of the scene for everyone watching, either you rest or watching the statue?
Not the biggest
The idea.
buff. I think this would probably be something along the lines of or I guess really a description is probably the best. Someone who's trying to work on a puzzle and put some of the pieces together and just sees that there's just so many pieces that they're trying to not be overwhelmed by it. And it's just trying to focus on one thing at a time. If there's a song that kind of encapsulates that, that's currently playing for that for Alicia.
Absolutely. My head went in a completely different position. This was the Shrek cover of Holding Up for a Hero, as you guys are all looking at the statue. Anyways, you guys all awake in the morning, long rested, powered up, and ready for your next adventure. Is the 10th of Uktar.
It's the 10th?
Yeah, the 10th of Uktar. It should be spring, but it's not.
It's like, is the imp like knocking on my window saying like, "Hey, you know it's the 10th, right?"
Yeah, he's like pointing down at his wrist. You know that it means watch, but no one else does.
It's like I haven't even had like my coffee or my cigarette yet, so I just pull the curtain back over and just say like, and then I return to Watto in bed and just say like, I can't wait to be rid of that thing.
Me either, dear. Me either. All right, y'all. So you guys can meet up in the morn, and you can tell me when you decide to leave for your next adventure.
Were there any issues with like the evening meal and at breakfast with people coming and going to the Bouncy Goat?
So
Kind
far,
of what's been like the turnout?
so far, because you had a nat 20 persuasion 23, it has been very consistent all night long with people coming in to get meals until the cauldron itself either has ran out or needs to be refreshed with the meals. So it's been very consistent. I think one thing that really has helped the consistency is the size of your check. Everyone hearing Gaiman's voice and the reputation the Thanes of Tin Towns have, because you guys freaking rescued most of the people that are still living within this city.
Like an insight check to see kind of what the vibe is so far with Aurilites coming and going.
Sure. Yeah, we can get an insight check to see what the vibe is.
I guess it might be a bit too soon to tell.
A little too soon, yeah. 5. So far it's been neutral. No fights have broken out. Everyone has stuck to the rules of the Bouncy Goat. No one has tried to break Sweden yet.
Good.
All right. Well, so I'm going to direct it then. So by 9, everyone has woken and met up at your pre-decided meeting place here in Bryn Shander. Uh, looking at Bryn Shander and knowing which direction you guys need to go, leaving from the east gate would probably be the most pertinent. Are there any preparations you all wish to make before leaving from the east gate? Before you head to this spire that may have the red yeti within.
I would say seeing like Avalis's thing, it's like, Avalis, you have a rough night?
I'm fine. And you see him like he's like leans on like one butt cheek.
Ah, the bugbear bend, huh?
I don't know what it's called, but I don't know if I liked it.
Gaiman doesn't. He does not fully understand what's being discussed. He just knows it's making him feel a bit uncomfortable. So he claps his hands and says, "So, what do we know about this spire? What preparations? Maybe of the mundane variety could we make?" Like, do we need to bring fire? Do we need to make sure that we have do we need to go hunting down some potions of various resistances? What do we need to do to prepare to deal with a yeti or a magical yeti?
Fire generally tends to work best.
Oh, we've got that in spades.
Yes, I can also. Well, I think most of us can cast Fireball, so that helps.
We do still have some alchemist fire flasks amongst us.
I can also make flame arrows, and I can make a wall of fire, and I can make a magical sword of fire, and I can also make a magical flaming sphere that would follow the Yeti around.
All right. Well, we've got multiple ways of dealing with him, assuming we can't talk him down. I mean, for all we know, it could be another Avila situation. This Red Yeti.
I would like to try to talk first if it is intelligent. I want to know why. Well, I want to find out what the connection is that we share.
Of course, Avalis, and as always, if you ever feel the need to, if you need someone to talk to about, anything at all, just, we're here.
Of course. But I am ready to go when you are. I'm just going to make a ice pack real quick.
Alright, out of character, I say I think I'm good. I've still got, a bunch of potions I still haven't used. I got the spell scrolls still good. Got my alchemist fire, so I think on my side I should be good to go.
Let's see. I've got 5 alchemist fire. Oh, okay. Still have a potion of frost giant strength.
I'm gonna switch up my infusions for the day.
I do have a potion of heroism. And a vial of mimic adhesive.
Oh, and not that I plan to use it anytime soon, but I did add in the PBR spyglass to my inventory.
Excellent.
And then
Just in
elixir of
case.
health. Okay, so lesser restoration, basically. Okay. I guess before we head off, I'd like to see what regular potions maybe had.
Absolutely. You guys could get yourselves stocked up on potions of healing, the bottom barrel variety that do the 2D hit die plus 2. There is a giant stock of those within the city of Bryn Shander. And Alicia, would you share the information about the stock of potions and scrolls that the sheriff was going to give you before this adventure? Or do you keep that close to the vest?
I think Alicia's gonna keep that one close to the vest until there is a decision to go to Grimskull.
Okay, no problem. The other Thane, who was once a player character but is now a B team member, Raylan, will say, if you need someone to sell you potions, I don't know if I've ever told you their name, but I have a criminal contact here in town that is pretty good about selling these things to me at a decent price. And they don't try to cut it with sugar water or anything else.
That's good.
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of like the fact that we had a few potions of greater healing. I mean, something a bit more substantial would be good, for the money. But if it's just regular potions, I mean, gold saved is gold earned.
My contact often has a large stock of hard-to-find consumables in their back shop. I can take you to meet them if you would like.
That'd be pretty useful. I mean, assuming they're out and about right now.
Oh yes, I'm sure that they are always open for business, especially if I bring them to you all. Shall we head that way?
Lead on.
All right, then we will transition you guys to meeting her contact here within the city of Bryn Shander. They are known to be the shadiest of all merchants within the city. As they open their door, from a secret knock, you meet the dealer. And that is where we will end our session for today. And I will take us back to the start page. Best I can do.
Also,
I get it.
We almost made it.
We almost made it. So what we can do between this session and next, because we have a quick conversation about this, because Lex is going to be out the next 3 Fridays. You're going to be out of the country, correct?
Yep.
And then on the 29th, we will definitely not have a Rime game because we're going to be down Gaiman and Lex. And Lex, when you're out of the country, I don't want to make any assumptions. You're on vacation.
It's like a
Are
7-hour
you-
time difference. I have no idea what's going to be
Okay.
going on, so pretty much count me
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Unless I say
And-
otherwise.
Okay, so we will have to think about what we want to do, but for shopping, to make it super easy, if you guys want to do in the to-do list channel in Discord, just send me a shopping list of what you want to buy, and I will quote you the prices of what old Rick here, the most shady dealer in Faerun, will quote you for those items. And then we will be active in the Discord to discuss how we want to carry on the 22nd and the 5th, what we're going to get up to.
All right. When we go, if y'all will hang out for just a second, I'll pick y'all can roll for an infusion.
All right. Well, y'all, I need to head to bed because I am coaching CrossFit in the morning, and I need to be chipper, pepper, and Piper. So I am going to head out. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. And Lex, since I'm not going to see you until the new year, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you. You too. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Looking forward to carrying on the rest of this crazy story in 2024.
Me too. Thank you, guys. I'm heading to bed. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Orf.
Thanks.
Thanks.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.